you know what? I'm gonna do now the one that I'm looking forward to the least. So I get done with it because it's a topic that makes my blood boil through it. So then we move on to more pleasant topics. I would like to talk about the situation with Carmelo Anthony and give you my opinion. And I know I don't really need to explain, but I'll just give you a mini little recap, like literally 3 seconds. This murderer here on the left stabbed this innocent guy into the heart and offed him. Okay, so he's dead. They are young students, both of them. They are students. And he got convicted for it, even though the lawyers were trying to claim self-defense, which is ridiculous because, yes, they had a little bit of an altercation, in verbal altercation, because he didn't want him to be under their tent when it comes to university sports stuff. Apparently, for what we know, something happened in the likes of he told him, touch me and see what happens. So he did touch him, meaning that I think he did a little push or something like that. So he took a dagger and stabbed him in the heart, which is, of course, excessive violence. You don't do that. And for some reasons, there are people that are upset that this guy got 35,000, sorry, I wish, 35 years in prison. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you my straight, direct, immediate opinion when it comes to this. I think that Carmelo Anthony deserves to never leave that jail cell. He needs life in prison. That's what I think. And I also think that it's atrocious that people are making it racial, because people are absolutely making it racial. They're saying that, oh, the government, or I don't know what, white supremacists are trying to make him an example because he's black. But that's like you're living on a different planet. You're living on a different planet because nobody cares that he's black. What I care about is that you don't stab someone in the heart because you think they're racist. Okay? And I don't even care if the white kid was racist or not in this case. Maybe he was not racist. Maybe he was racist. Who cares? It's still not, words do not justify a stabbing. And that's the reality. And yes, we are making an example of him. You're absolutely right. We're making an example of him. An example to everyone who thinks that just because you're going to play your victim card, that you can get away with murder. Cold-blooded. Not to mention the level of disgusting retaliation. Okay, there are people that are screaming justice for Carmelo, blah, 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 out the court. And the simple idea that the parents of the victim had to see that, to me, like, I don't know. I put myself always in the place, in the shoes of the parents, okay? So when it's the parents of a victim, and the idea that there are people now, there is a trend, I'll show you. I hate having to see this. Let me see if I can find it. But there is a trend now whereby there are all of these people that, for some reasons, they think that he was justified in stabbing someone in the heart. There's this trend on TikTok now that they are literally pissing on the victim's grave. And they know that the parents, there we go, I found it. I'm going to show it. Okay? Now, this is disgusting, and I hope that these people lose their jobs. Now, please listen to my words carefully because they will be misconstrued. I'm not saying I want government intervention because this is ugly, this is disgusting, but it's still protected speech. I don't want the government to arrest them, but I want whoever is employing these people, I want their faces everywhere so that they can have social repercussions, not governmental repercussions, First Amendment. But there are social repercussions. I want people to be disgusted and employers to be like, oh, that's what you do? I don't want you in my job, which is an absolutely based thing to do and has nothing to do with First Amendment rights. Okay? Nothing to do. First Amendment only protects you from government intervention, and I don't want people to be arrested over this, which takes, by the way, a lot of self-constraint, because the idea that there is a grieving father and the mom. Now, what do I think then of the parents of the murderer? Because I am going to call him for what he is. Well, of course, it's still parents. It depends on what they say, okay? Because I can see if you are the father or you are the mom, you want to believe your son. And you want to believe, no, it was self-defense. You want to believe it? well, you're the parent. I can understand it, but it depends, because if they're gonna make it racial again, then the parents can go fuck themselves if they make it racial again. But if they don't, they're just like, I can understand, okay? I can understand that they want to believe that their son is innocent. Still doesn't change the verdict, though, because the son was not innocent. So I can sympathize with the tragedy that this is also for the parents of the murderer, but he is a murderer. And what he should have done is leave the tent. Or he could, if Austin said something ugly to him, well, speak back, insult him back. No one is going to think anything of it, right? Insult him back, call him whatever you want. If he used racially charged language, which I don't think he did, there is no reason to believe, but if he did, we'll use the same back. Nobody cares. This idiot's life is over. 35 years in prison, and again, I think he deserves life. But even if we don't get life, and he gets 35 years in prison, you know what that means? It's still like this idiot threw away his life, and for what? To play tough guy with the white kid? Congratulations, you're an absolute clown. It shows you how much political propaganda reshapes the way you perceive events. This is the dad, okay? He has spoken publicly. I cannot even begin to comprehend his mental state. I don't. What was the title of this? You failed your son first. Howard Professor. Oh, you're going to be joking. Howard Professor blames father's value after Karmelo Anthony's murder. What about at this point the father of this murderer's values? I mean, have you even questioned that? Personally, I wouldn't blame either of the parents unless we have proof to do it, because innocent until proven guilty. And the only person who was proven guilty is, this piece of shit. Dr. Stacey Patton published a subtract opinion piece a day after Karmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Guys, I am flabbergasted. When I edit this back, I'm gonna put this section first, so that people know that the nonsense we're reading is not coming from a random TikToker, but it's coming from Howard Professor. You're telling me Patton is a black female professor at HBU. I am amazed. I gotta read the beginning. A Howard University professor tore into the victim's impact statement delivered by the father of slain Texas teen Austin Metcalf. These people, by the way, are gonna cause more violence. These are the people that are the reason why there are individuals who believe them, because I'm a big shot professor, it must be right, or she must be right. I mean, it could be he at this point, who knows what she identifies as. Super professor plus one of us. So this is an atrocious situation, so I'm going to go do it again because I need to prove them. And every single one of them needs to end up in prison. But we do need to keep a close eye to this professor. I'm going to be honest with you. Congratulations on passing the test. Thank you so much, Oru. Unbelievable. Arguing that the teen's death did not begin with a knife wielded by Karmelo Anthony, but instead that his father's parenting style, that the victim, needs to be blamed. Well, how about one of the things that I'm going to teach my son is to say, hey, if someone says something you don't like, don't stab them to death. How about that? How about that kind of parenting? Dr. Stacey Patton, a professor at Howard University School of Communications, really, penned an opinion piece titled, Dear Jeff Metcalf, your son is dead because you failed. Oh my gosh, this is disgusting. With a massive view as well. You failed. Yeah, victim blaming. Let's go, Patton. You failed teaching humility. But not a single word about all the disgusting people that are saying that the white victim kid, that now they're saying that he belongs in hell because he's white and he dared to say a mean word. Not a single word against those. Why? Because this professor clearly agrees with them. This is all a matter of division based on race. You know what? These people, I'm going to say it, are the new Nazis. This is who these people are. They just change the groups that they go against, but it's the same type of stuff. It's the same type of stuff. But there are people that are mad because apparently he said something that was kind of racist towards his son's murderer. Are we really going to complain about a father who is being mean towards the, murderer of his son? That's where we're going to go. Really. By the way, we need to see if it's really racist. Let me see. Anyways, number one, so before continuing, do you ever get bored? If the answer is yes, then there is something you can do. Play games and get paid for it. I'm of course talking about the sponsor of this video, Free Cash. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link in my description or scan the QR code you see now on screen. Sign up and start immediately. Meaning after you watch this video until the end, am I right? Now then. Creating an account is simple as it gets. Email, password, and once inside the app, you'll see a wall of games and offers, and all you need to do is choose one that you actually genuinely enjoy. Then play through the levels and you get cash straight into your Free Cash account. In other words, whenever you've got downtime, commuting, waiting time, you can take that and turn it into a side hustle. Some people can pull $10 to $20 a day, and of course, if you put in the effort, you can make much more. Leveling up allows you to unlock better offers, and if you want, you can even spend a couple of bucks here and there just to level up faster, but this is entirely optional, so if you don't want to, you don't have to spend anything and just keep it free. It's entirely up to you. And it's reported that some users have managed to hit $500 or more on some offers. The whole point of this app is that instead of sitting down and wasting your time, you can actually play games you like and make money at the same time. And when it's time to cash out, you can use PayPal and gift cards. So if you want to check this out, make sure to use my link in the description or the QR code and you will get a $5 bonus to start things off. Let me see. It is easier to stand in a courtroom and call Karmelo Anthony a failure. I don't call him a failure, I call him a murderer. Than it is to admit that Austin's death did not begin with the knife Patton wrote. What? It began with every lesson that holds your son that he had the right to approach, challenge, and cross a boundary. There is something in law called excessive use of force that completely nullifies any possible idea of self-defense. This is that case. It began with every adult who smiled at white boy entitlement. Oh my gosh, who writes this nonsense? I'll see what the article is. And leadership, call it what? It began with every cultural script that taught him black boys are the ones to be feared. But, well, in this case, they were right. Of course, it doesn't mean every black person is like that. Nobody with a brain thinks it. But I mean, you can't use this line in a situation where this guy got stabbed in the heart for speech and a little push, but never taught him that black boys might also be afraid. Right, and if you're afraid, you leave. Look this one. Look at this. She also alleged that Jeff's victim impact statement was rooted in racism, homing in on Jeff saying that Anthony does not belong in the community because of what he did. But that's true, though. Notice, that guy does not belong in this community. He belongs in jail, Anthony. Is it saying because of his genes? Is he saying because of his DNA? Is he saying because of the phenotypic traits that... It's saying because of what he did. Yes, absolutely. You don't belong. So it's not even a racist statement. You don't belong in this community. It's not just a father's grief spilling over, Patton wrote. It is a declaration of removal. Oh my gosh, the stupid. You see what I mean, guys? When I say extreme propaganda, particularly when you're told you're a victim, you're the oppressed class, when you keep telling you this, then you look at reality. But your filters are so thick, what you see is a shapeless, distorted caricature of what is real. You don't see reality anymore. Nobody cares that he was black. We care that he stabbed the guy. When I say nobody, I'm being hyperbolic. Yes, there are some actual racists that are like, yeah, they exist, fine. They're a minority. They don't even count in percentages of the people that want justice here. Also because, as you see, and you know what proves that I'm right and they're just a minority? Because if it was the majority, you would have so much better ammo than you don't belong in this community because of what you did. So if you have to use this and manipulate it to a way that you need to tell us, oh, this grieving father, no, it's not because his son is dead. It's because the guy was black, and when he says this, he actually means that. If you have to do that level of mental manipulation, it means you've got nothing. Am I making logical sense here? Politics aside. And it is the language of somebody who believes he has the authority to decide who gets to stay, who must disappear, and whose presence contaminates the social order. Like father, like son. So, this is the next level of victim blaming, of course. I can't even believe that this is where we are going. There is so much to unpack here. So let me say it. They say, It is a declaration of removal. That's exactly what we do within the legal justice. I don't like calling it justice system because oftentimes it's not just. Look at, for example, the UK. But in this case, it is just. So it is the legal system. That's exactly what we do. Someone murders. When it wasn't self-defense, we remove them from the rest of society because they do it once. They're probably going to continue doing it if we get away with it. So we put them in a separate location, aka prison. That's how it works. That's exactly what it works. It's called removal. That's what law enforcement does. Then they say it is the language of somebody. This is important that they complain about the language because a lot of this was rooted in language control because you control the way a people speaks. You control the way they think. That's how it is. So the language you're using, the language, they want to control everything you say, how you say it. And do remember that this is the same line of thinking of the people that tell you language is violence, which is a very dangerous statement to say, as this demonstrated by this and many other occurrences. It's very dangerous to think that language is violence, because when you say that, then you justify it. You basically are beginning the grounding for the justification layer of physical violence is an acceptable answer to verbal violence because it's violence. No. When someone is abusing you verbally, you either ignore them or you insult them back. And by the way, if you choose the latter, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Someone calls you something and you tell them, motherfucker, that's fine. Totally fine. Fair. I'd say fair. It's fine. Or you can be the bigger individual and say, like, I'm just going to ignore him. That's fine too. This idea that someone uses ugly language towards you, and we got to a point where we think that there are some magical words that when they are uttered, well, then now I can stab them to death. Yeah, there are people that think that. Carmelo Anthony was one of these people, and we need to make an example. Fuck around and find out. You're going to do it, you end up in prison. That's how it is. And of course, I would say that even if the roles were reversed, and it was the white kid that didn't like what the black kid said, and then stabbed him, yeah, of course, no, you can't do that. It's really that simple. That's why Europe is infected. Europe is a mess. Europe is a mess. But as you'll see, Canada is also really, really bad when it comes to what you can and cannot say. And in fact, there was a recent bill that has been passed. We'll cover it very soon as one of the things we'll cover today. Let's finish up this debauchery. And then he says the father believes he has the authority to decide who gets away and stay. No, that would be the law. And guess what? Whether you agree or disagree with the law doesn't allow you to break it. That's just how it is. If you don't like it, I don't want to live in a society where scared black kid doesn't get away with stabbing the heart of a weaponless white kid because of their speech or because he touched him. So, I don't know, he wanted to play thug, I guess. Be like, oh, look, you told me not to touch you and I touched you. What you going to do about it? Although then again, that's kind of whatever. I don't want to live in a society where I can't just murder people and get away with it. Fine, leave. Go somewhere else. Move to a different country where you think that the law follows more, connects with the way you think life should happen. Nobody's going to stop you. I can tell you that. Oh, gosh. Who contaminates the social order? Yeah, actually, I do think that murderers contaminated the social order. I believe that. 100%. I don't even know. My argument is simple. Let's see. Black children are children. Congratulations for stating an obvious biological fact of reality. Has nothing to do whatsoever with this, though. Patton said, okay. Who's this Patton, by the way? Do you guys know? I'll look it up. They do not become monsters because white America needs one. Bro, he stabbed someone in the heart. I mean, and their humanity is not up for debate because a verdict has been rendered. Okay. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is next level gaslighting, guys. This is next level gaslighting. Holy mother of Skyrim. Thank you so much, Lapko. I'm late. Congrats on passing the citizenship test. You're exactly the kind of immigrant the founding fathers would approve of. Well done, brother. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Dovakin says, I think 35 years is far too short. I agree. For the crime committed. I can tell you that much. 35 years is not the length of time that the mother of the victim is not going to be able to be with her son. Life for a life. Carmelo should at the very least also have been given hard labor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about hard labor and stuff. The thing is, though, that once again, I just hope there is I would have given him life without the possibility of parole is what I would have given. Okay? The verdict is correct. This guy's a murderer, and he should have left. He should have left. He should have said something mean and left. That's what he should have done. And now he would have his entire life ahead of him. But probably the reality is that he was convinced that every white person hates him. It's not true. I don't hate you. Well, now I do, and Carmelo Anthony. But before you did this, if I saw you in the streets, I would have thought nothing. I'd been like, hey, there's a guy. Full stop. Of course, if you behave like a thug, then I'm going to cross my road. But I would do that regardless. It's the culture that makes me want to be like, I don't want to deal with this shit. It's the culture, because there are some cultures that are incompatible with ours. And so when I meet people who clearly show an absolute rooted, deep hatred towards anything that I love, Christianity, the West, my people, then yeah, I don't want to deal with these people. So culture. And then there is the whole, does this person look like a freaking criminal? If there are check boxes in this, and I'm like, yeah, okay, across the street. Whether it be a black thug or a white thug or an Asian thug, doesn't matter. It's the thug component. If I see whatever ethnicity, but they look really nice in Sunday clothing, holding the hands of their children as they're coming back home from church, you think I'm going to be like, I don't know, is that a thug? No, I don't hate you before. Now, I think you're scum. I think you're a cold-blooded murderer. What I want to say about this, because there is a lot of, I think, mischaracterization, and these days you can't believe anything. Whatever you read, they say something, they mean something else. This is the reality. This should not be political, it should not be racial, it should just be a matter of you don't stab people in the heart. It's that simple. If you're white, don't stab a black kid in the heart. If you're black, don't stab a white kid in the heart. That's how it should be. And anyone who is manipulating this into being, oh, this is racial because the kid was black, that's why he was incarcerated. No, he was being incarcerated because he stabbed someone in the heart. This is the reality of it. And who you see here, this is the twin brother who had to see his own twin brother Austin die in his arms. It's a tragedy. This family's life is finished. You think that dad and the mom are gonna ever have peace? It's and now I have a son now, and the idea that something like that could happen, and then there is gonna be people who are gonna say, yeah, he deserved it because of the color of his skin. Where are we even going? Where are we even going? It's easy to be a decent individual. If someone is guilty, it doesn't matter what they look like, their ethnic makeup, genetic, ancestral origins, I don't care. Are they guilty? Yes. Okay, belong in jail. Are they a victim? Yes. Okay, then they did nothing wrong. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. How do people understand? Anyways, I want to share on a positive note, because otherwise I get aggravated. When I see people laughing at death, I get aggravated. And before people, because they'll tell me you only complain when it's left-wingers who laugh at death, like Charlie Kirk and this and that, but you never complain when it's right-wingers. Bro, I've complained about both when, what's his name? Robert, what was his name? I always forget the name. The guy in Hollywood who got stabbed, super left-wing, mega anti-Trump guy. He got murdered by his own drug-addicted son. Some people were laughing at him, and I made a post. I said, guys, I did hate this guy's politics, but come on. He got stabbed in his own bed by his son. It's atrocious. Let's not laugh at it. I'm very consistent. Yes, of course, if I have a bunch of liberals who laugh at someone who dies because they're conservatives, they're fucking scum. But at the same time, if I've got a bunch of conservatives who laugh at a transgender person because they offed themselves and threw themselves in a train, I'm like, this person was mentally ill because and I'm not using that as an insult. If someone misgenders you and you throw yourself under a train, you have a mental condition, right? It's the reality, and it's a tragedy. My heart aches for them. I wish they could have had the help they needed, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it's chopping yourself off your body. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But I hope that they had help, that they could find happiness, that they could feel and find a way to find happiness in who they are and how their body looks. I feel for them. Let's not laugh at death. And I've even done that a couple of times with Trump. I made a post when I said, I didn't like the way Trump worded this. And that post got me like 4 million views. It's not like nobody saw it, but it Reddit never happened. Never. Oh, Metatron only complains about liberals. Yes, I will. I always will. The split second I see a progressive laughing at Charlie Kirk, I want to flip by that table. That's how it is. Okay? But at least I am being concise and consistent. Concise, no, but consistent, yes. You open any Reddit page dedicated to me, they're feeding you lies. And that's how it is. But for a better note, before I explode, and then I check all the super chats, this was my first meal after passing US citizenship test, which was IHOP. I like IHOP. There are some people actually that got offended, and they were telling me, oh, why IHOP? It's trash. Bro, that thing was great. Given I prefer Cracker Barrel. I wish they didn't refurbish because it looks like shit. But the one in our location, I think they reverted back to kind of how it looked before. Cracker Barrel is fine. IHOP is fine. Of course, I know, I'm aware that mom and pops run restaurants in the US are the best. I agree. But I really wanted IHOP, so shut up. I wanted these, the New York style pancakes. They were great. I wanted the toast, the French toast. I wanted the everything, the bacon and eggs. Now given, some people, I guess I want to say it. Some people were telling me, bro, you're a little light on bacon and eggs. That's not a real American. Brother, come on. This is, you know this. This is my wife here. Do you think she's going to eat all of her bacon and sausage? Of course not, which means I'm going to get double. Like, I already know this. I'm already way ahead of you. She has the appetite of a little tiny bird, which means she's going to eat a little bit of these. She's going to eat a little bit of hash browns. She's going to begin, just ever so slightly begin her meal. And then she's going to be like, oh, I'm full, which means I get to eat everything. I'm going to eat all of this. I ate all of this, everything. Okay. Just wanted you to know this. Very important. Very important. Okay? And yeah, no, I liked it. I love American food. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because American food is not just fast food. I mean, it depends where you go, right? It's kind of addictive. American food. Rob Reiner, yeah, that was the name. Thank you. Thank you, Dovakin11. You say, speaking as a twin, we are usually a lot closer than other siblings, so I would imagine the twin is under extreme mental anguish right now. You know who said this? Matt Walsh said this. I rarely comment on Matt Walsh's stuff because I'm gonna be honest with you, I get bored with political things. I know, shocking, but he's right. He says, I have twin boys. The image of this kid holding his dying brother in his arms fills me with grief and rage. If you feel no sympathy for Austin's family, then you're not human. Well, you are a human, but I understand what he means. Like, you're not humane. You have no soul. I understand that 100%. Insane at times, we would exile you from society. You don't deserve to live among us. I mean, I 100% and agree with his sentiment here. And there will be the people say, so are you saying you agree with everything he says? Go fuck yourself. I'm not even going to dignify you with that. But I agree with this. He's right. He's right. Oh my gosh. So yeah, the Karmelo Anthony thing. I watched the footage of the father speaking, for instance. So, you belong in prison. And that's my take. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth.